final series of graphs are more practical. They don't have nearly the theoretical background than what we do in most of the other graphs. There are some exceptions, which I'll come to, but they generally provide you a bit of feedback in terms of your perceptions of performance. The first one that we have here is your perception of performance across a wide series of topics. We can see where we have gaps and where we don't have gaps, and we've put in here a marker at what we believe would be probably a fairly good indication that if on average a board recorded around a 3.7 level, we'd be thinking that a board thinks it's doing fairly well. And this might help you in terms of thinking about some areas for discussion. Notice again, really important to differentiate between where we might have a low score here in risk management that's tightly condensed. So everyone thinks we could learn a bit more about risk management. Whereas look at strategy. The mean or the average score is probably one of the best, but at least one person and probably a couple of people think that we're not doing very well at all. So I think it's important to have a discussion about this strategy topic almost as much as risk management, because someone thinks we're not doing very well at all, and why. We also have performance of the board, the management team, and our sense of collaboration, as well as the overall organisation. Again, look at some of the spreads here which are telling. And that of course comes through when we look at an overall performance level. And we can clearly see that there is one board member who isn't terribly happy with how things are going. It's worth trying to figure out why and how, and that means that we interpret the rest of the results through the survey under this prism. There's one person here who thinks very differently about many of these issues, and you should bear that in mind when you're looking at the results. And that's where reading the results is probably far more of a science, of an art, than it is of a science. We have a number of graphs here that provide you some background and demographics. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in there, but it might be interesting to know who's reimbursed and who believes they're reimbursed, whether they're satisfied with the reimbursement and the current remuneration levels. The final graph with some constructs or some academic thought behind it are these ones, and these deal with, again, with making sure we have stability in the board. It's about whether people believe that they're board members or management committee members, their identification with the role, their satisfaction with the role. If these two are higher, we're probably less likely to leave. And again, we have quite a negative intention to leave, which is good because we don't want people to leave, so we want a low rating here, although the spread is quite wide and there may be one person who's thinking about leaving. And that's where you can flick back and interpret it in light of this graph. I wonder who would be intending to leave. So if it's bad or not, you're not sure till we know the board, and you'll have a better understanding of that than what we would here. Finally, we show the positions in the organisation, tenure, and how many meetings we've attended. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope that you can get something out of the particular feedback that we can provide through the Developing Your Board site. Thank you.